Okay, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA here again with Mr. Fighter Jack Jenkins, talking about his upcoming fight on December 5th at Rogue MMA 1 in Melbourne Pavilion. How are you feeling, man?
Yeah, feeling really good. Just finished up a session with my striking coach just now. Two and a bit weeks out, so still in like my really hard phase, probably for the next 10 days, and then we'll start to taper off a bit closer to the fight.
Yeah, so how long has that? Obviously, it's been a long time since you've actually had a fight because of the COVID situation. How long has this actual camp been going for?
Probably 8 weeks. 8 weeks coming up. It'll be 8 weeks by fight time. But obviously, I live in regional Victoria, so for a long time during that, the regional and metro borders were closed. So I could travel between, but sometimes it was difficult, and we had check stops in between going my regional town and going to the city. So it was a bit hard. So it's not like I've had a really long lead in, but we've been training the whole time. It's just now for that last 8 weeks, we've been really ramping it up.
Yeah, man. Do you think the time between fights and the COVID situation has benefited you in any way, man?
100%. I was talking yesterday, we manage, when you have that pressure of getting a fight lifted off you, you can really focus on like fixing holes in your game and things like that. And I think my jiu-jitsu in particular, like my work on defending the back, which is what cost me in a fight, and just being calm in all those jiu-jitsu positions has gone really through the roof. A lot of the training we did, our coach Simon sort of looked at 3 or 4 of the main guys in the gym and went, let's fix their most important thing that they need to work on, and just by trickle down, the rest of the group will also use that really well. So like for me, it was like defending when people are on my back, and then attacking a little bit better when I'm on the back. And for a couple of other guys, it was like bottom half guard or being underneath certain positions. So we all really leveled up during the lockdown. So you got to go. I wish I could have been more active, but in saying that, we took what we could from it.
That's good, man. That gives you some chance to, up the skills a little bit. What about injuries, body, mindset, all these things? How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, really good. Obviously just not like I didn't spar at all during lockdown pretty much. Like if anything, we would have moved around with each other and done, very light touch work with the guys who can do that. But I avoided, any really hard sparring, which I try to do as much as I can. There's an element of you need it. Like sometimes you got to bite down and learn that grit and things like that. But just during the lockdown, didn't really spar hard at all. So coming into this fight camp, I was fresh. Some of those niggles that you sort of pick up during the years sort of got time to heal. So the body's feeling really good.
Yeah, man. Last time we spoke, you mentioned about your sparring, how you do a lot of functional type things with the right people to make sure you can minimize those injuries and make sure you have longevity in the career, right? I think it's a smart way to be.
Yeah, for sure. I like if I beat someone in sparring, I like to know I beat them because, I set something up, or, I outskilled them rather than, because I'm fairly athletic. I don't like to beat somebody based on the fact that I was more fit or that I was faster or more powerful. And the same thing, like I spar with my coach, Andy, and although he's a little bit older than me and I'm sort of in my athletic prime, he will catch me with things because of the way we play. He'll set me up and I'm not trying to be faster than him or more powerful than him. So we match speed, we match power, and then it's just purely like a chess match. It's just whose brain uses more power at that time. And because he's so good and so knowledgeable, he'll catch me as much as I catch him, if not more.
Yeah, there's a lot of arguments about doing that, and especially in jiu-jitsu training, right? That we need to remove the ego, not only for yourself, but also for your training partner's benefit. And it sounds about right. I was actually reading something from Tom DeBlas. I'm not sure if you're aware of him. High-level black belt in the States.
Well, I don't know him, but
he just wrote a comment that really about that, like yesterday or today on Instagram. I'll forward it to you later.
Yeah, sweet.
Anyway, man. So your opponent coming up is Jason Petropoulos, correct?
Yep, correct.
Called the Argonaut. He has 3 wins and 4 losses according to the records I was looking on. 2-fight losing streak. Man, he looks like he's always looking for the grappling side of things, right? He's got a big kind of overhand with his body behind it, likes to get the heel hook, etc. Is that about right?
Yeah, looks for single leg X, heel hook stuff. I watched his last fight with Michael Manu. I've done a bit of work with Michael, and Michael's super quick, got really nice kicks and stuff, and I think he just overwhelmed Jason a little bit. But Jason and I actually fought my first fight on Hex. He fought as well, and he had a win the same night I did, but he was fighting at flyweight then. And since then, he's put on a lot of lean muscle in a short period of time.
The funny thing you're going to say that, I've got this written on my notes, 2015 to 2019, musculature has developed. I was just thinking, this looks a bit speedy for my liking.
Yeah, definitely. But look, I'm not worried about that. In the grand scheme of things, it is what it is. But the way that fight came about was that Melbourne was in the middle of a lockdown, and I'd sort of made myself comfortable with the position that I wasn't going to get to fight again. Because Eternal, who I have been fighting with, they point blank said, we're not coming to Melbourne and we're not matching any Melbourne fighters. So it was like they just wiped their hands of anyone from Victoria, which they had to do, because you can't match a fight 2 weeks out most of the time. You have to match it 8 to 10 weeks out. So when they're doing all their matchups, it doesn't look like Victoria is going to be out of lockdown at all. So with that in mind, we said, all right, who in Victoria is at featherweight and can fight? And, 3 to 4 of them are my training partners at my gym. And then you go, all right, well, is there anyone in the top 10 other than those 3 that's in Victoria? And there wasn't any. And then we asked a couple of people who said no, they had injuries and all that sort of stuff. And, it is what it is. I know a lot of guys haven't been able to train. So it's a thing. And then when the nominations came out for Rogue, there was one name, and it was Jason. And I messaged Jason point blank on Instagram, and I said, hey, mate, I didn't think I was going to get to fight this year. Do you want to fight? Because if you do, I think we could make it for a title on one of these 2 shows. I said we can do it on Demolition, because I know Wayne, the promoter for that show. And then we could do it on Rogue, which is obviously getting promoted by Dan and Simon, who I'm with. So it's like, we can do this if you want. And he said, hey, I'd love to fight for a belt. It's always been my dream to have an MMA belt. And, we can get it done. And I said, hey, look, any fight for me is a good fight at this point. So, he stepped up and took the chance, and I was happy to welcome him. So, that was one that was matched internally by myself and my opponent.
That's good, man. Props to the Argonaut for stepping up to a difficult and dangerous guy such as yourself, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, you described yourself before as a pressure fighter with accurate boxing. Will you be looking for the KO, man?
100%. I'm not. There won't be a grappling exchange there that I'm not looking to break away from and get back to my striking distance. I want to put a stamp on it. At the end of the day, it's just 2 competitors. I don't put too much stamp on the belt, and I don't put too much stamp on records either. At the end of the day, it's 2 people going in there, and anything can happen. So I'm preparing like it's a UFC fight. Trying to dot all my I's and cross all my T's like it's going to be a 5-round war. But I'm going in there to try and be as violent as I can and get that finish. And I think in my last couple of fights, I've really started to let that side shine through in my skill set a little bit more. So hoping to do that again.
That's good, man. I don't want to talk. I won't ask you to describe your strategy, but just me watching the Argonaut a little. All right. Anyway, the Argonaut, when I watch him, man, I was just noticing that he kind of moved his head, but he's kind of stationary with his legs. So I'm thinking those leg breaking calf kicks from Jack Jenkins might just hurt him up a bit, tender him up a bit. And I think you'll be dominant with the stand-up, bro. Like I see taking the legs out and KOing him. That's what I see, man, as I watch the 2 of you guys.
So the thing is with guys like Jason is you can fall into that confidence of that, I'm a bit cleaner and a little bit tidier on the feet, so I can afford to make mistakes and take bigger risks, which I'm just not going to do. I'm going to fight very similar to how I fought Diego, which is walk forward with tight hands and pick my shots as I go. The difference between the Diego fight and the Jason fight is that I will use my hands a lot more, especially for the first round. It'll be lots of straight punches, lots of body work, try and force the shot out of him early because I know I'm going to have a better gas tank than him. So when he comes out and he shoots, if I can tie him up in a grapple for sort of that 60 to 90 second mark, he's got a lot of lean mass that he's going to have to feed oxygen to. Drain him early on. And then if I can't find the chin in the first round, in the second round, when he starts moving his head side to side to avoid those straight punches, there's going to be some kicks coming up on either side. So that's how I see it going.
Yeah, man. And the other thing is obviously it's MMA. It can go any way. I do see that possibility of some sort of grappling exchange where you drop in for the legs as well, because you do actually do that sometimes, right? In exchange, if it's there, you'll take it, right?
Yeah. Look, I will. If the clinch happens and I end up on top, then I end up on top. I'm not so risk averse that I'm not going to engage in the grapple there. But my primary goal is to stand up and bang it out. I think the way to get noticed, if you go back, there's there might be a clip somewhere of it. My very first fight, which was in like 2016, I said like the fastest way to get where you want to get in this sport is to finish fights. So that's what I'm out there going to try and do.
That's it, man. And right now, obviously, you're in the thick of things coming up. How do you handle that psychological side right now? Like, how are you sitting with it? Do you do any sort of work to get yourself ready for the fight?
Yeah, I run late at night a lot. I just try and avoid comfort as much as I can. I try and avoid without sounding too ridiculous. Like I avoid things that make me, feel too comfortable, feel nice. I don't go out going out for nice dinners with my girlfriend. I don't like sitting on the couch for long periods of time. I don't really do any of that stuff that, can sort of put you in a bit of a rut. So I'm like 10:30 at night, I'm out. People in back of Smash are always fucking coming up saying, what are you doing running at that time of night? Because I'm always out in high vis running at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. In the daytime, my life's pretty simple. In the daytime, I go to Collingwood and I train in the morning at 10 o'clock, Collingwood or St Kilda. And then I come and I park my car right here. Flip this. I park my car right here at the front of my coach's gym and I wait for the class to open up in the afternoon. And that's it. And then by the time I get home, it's sort of 7:30, 8 o'clock at night and I make some dinner and then, go to bed. So life, I keep it as simple as I can and as, as far away from just being normal and comfortable as I can too, just to get yourself in that mindset.
Yeah, you mentioned last time about kind of psychologically isolating yourself a little bit from comforts and from friends, etc., during this sort of camp, right?
Yeah. Like I didn't even. One of my mates messaged me on the weekend and so I said, "Hey mate, it's been 6 weeks since I've seen you. Like, what's going on?" And I hadn't even noticed. I said, "Shit, man. Like 6 weeks. It has been that long, but I just get so deep into it that's what happens." I think that's pretty common with fighters as well. There's an element of understanding that you go in there alone, so you need to be comfortable with what's going on in your head.
And that sacrifice, you're aware of that sacrifice, and that also drives you a little bit. I remember, do you know Paul Grimer? I don't know if you've heard of him, old school Thai boxer from Sydney. He used to sleep in the ring. He used to sleep in the boxing ring and just make himself angry at the opponent that he's sleeping in the ring. He's away from his family, and that was a sacrifice he was making to kind of drive him in the fight. Kind of cool thing.
Yeah, definitely. I can relate to that for sure.
Anyway, man, last question. So let's just jump past the fight. I know people say you're not supposed to look forward, etc., but obviously it's pretty natural. Yeah. What do you want to be happening after this fight? Let's say you get a KO win. What's your next step?
Look, I think I'm at the level I'm ready to fight for the UFC, but I'm absolutely not hedging my bets on that and going to sit on the sideline and wait or anything like that. There's a couple of guys who are, have been active lately and been fighting. So I'll win this one. And then if the UFC is coming next, like let's say they book a show here in March next year, I'll book a fight in March next year. And if the UFC calls and I get to, go and step up to that card, then good. But if the UFC doesn't call, then I've got a fight booked and I'm ready to go. So, I'll talk to Cam and Ben at Eternal and, Hex reached out to me recently as well, trying to organise a fight there, maybe for their title. So, yeah, there's obviously moving parts, but I'm not interested in sitting on the sideline any more than I've already had to with COVID.
Yeah, man, that's something we'd love to see, man. You got the skills, you got the athleticism, man. You got the personality. We'd all love to see you take that next step and jump up to the big time.
Thanks very much. Yeah. I'm hoping to be able to get there. It's get there next year, as I say. I know I'm going to get there. It's just a matter of time. But I'm hoping to get there after this one if I can.
All right, man. All right. Thanks again for your time, man. Taking your time out in between sessions. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll have a good chat again if you're free after the fight, man, sometime.
100%. Love to.
Great. All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Toby. All right. Cheers, mate.